Welcome to Off Topic with Tim and Matt, our sports show. We talk about all things sports, and we always go
Off topic.
All right, big news in the NFL world. Probably the biggest news in the dead zone of NFL sports. Jason Kelce retired.
Yes.
Very big deal. Now,
Yeah.
we all know Jason Kelce is the personality, drunk at the Bills game and all that kind of stuff. What did he bring to football? What did he bring on the field? Like, talk to me.
So Jason Kelce on the field, I mean, you've never seen a center that was like that. He was undersized right away. He was a smaller guy.
6'3", 295.
But they're like 6'5", 350, right? So, I mean, he's considered undersized. He'd be a giant next to one of us.
Right.
But he goes into this position as this undersized guy, and he nails it.
Yeah.
He was one of the best centers who ever played the game.
Right.
Right? And it wasn't just, you think center snap the ball.
Yeah.
No, he was picking up blocks, get downfield. He had the athletic ability to get down the field and lay out the blocks and create the room and whatnot. But it was also his personality.
Yeah.
He was that guy that was going to step in front of everybody else, right? And be the wall.
Yeah.
Right? And it's funny because you talk about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Right.
Right? And I saw a picture. It was like the original Kelce and Swift. And it's DeAndre Swift running back. And Kelce's running downfield, 30 yards downfield, laying a block for him as he's running down the field, right? And he was just this phenomenal football player, but he was larger than life, and the city of Philadelphia loved him.
Oh, yeah.
He was everything Philadelphia. So when they won the Super Bowl and he showed up in the Kings
The genie.
the genie, right? And the city loved him. He did the podcast with his brother.
Yeah.
People ate it up. And then he got knocked out of the playoffs, and he didn't go home and pout about it.
No.
He went and cheered his brother on.
Yeah.
He went for the full Bills experience. He went to the Ravens game. He was just.
He's got to be careful though, because his drinking's there. Like I don't, he's a social drinker. It can go to hard drinker.
Yeah.
Like he's 36. You're not working out 15 hours a day anymore. You just retired. You might want to go on the wagon a little bit and just tone it down.
And with 3 young daughters. And
fourth
on
the way. I think
fourth
we're
on the way.
Yeah.
You've seen his wife on the podcast and in a couple of interviews.
I think she puts up with him, man.
Well, I think she runs the ship around there. The drinking's going to be very, very once in a blue moon type thing, right? But you look at the guy. Here's the one thing that cracked me up. Everybody talks about how he was going through the drive-through at McDonald's,
Right.
To get breakfast.
Yeah.
And he signed a jersey for the girl that worked in the drive-thru who was a big fan of his type thing, right? Right. The thing is she knew him, he knew her, because he's a regular at McDonald's.
Right.
There's no special meal plan for Jason Kelce. I want a sausage McMuffin, I'm going to get a sausage McMuffin, right? And he's just that kind of character that you just gravitate to.
Right.
And I don't spend a lot of time watching retirement press conferences.
No. His was pretty good.
But isn't it lineman ever had to give a retirement press conference? Usually you just ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
He had to. And then not only did that, then they take him down the hall, and every staff member that works for the Eagles was in a room to congratulate him, clap for him, and thank him.
Crazy, eh?
He got that. He earned that love. Yeah.
They begged him. They offered him, I think, about $7 or $8 million a year to come to the front office.
Yeah.
The Eagles want to keep him. He wants to do broadcasting.
Yeah.
Probably more suited to him.
Yeah.
But it's too bad he can't do both. Like, he should be on the field.
And the thing that cracks me up is my wife.
Coach.
My wife does no time for football, right?
I had a feeling I know where this is going.
The whole Swift thing, right? I'm at work the other day, and I get a text from her. Oh my God, I'm in tears. And I'm like, what? What's wrong? What's wrong? And she goes, the press conference. What press conference? Jason Kelce's retirement. I'm like, I'm busy at work.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend's brother is retired.
But prior to them dating, she was watching New Heights because of Jason Kelce.
Oh, okay.
She saw a clip somewhere.
Oh, she's an Eagles fan.
No, she's a Jason Kelce fan. She doesn't like football, period.
Tay?
No,
your wife.
My wife.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, my wife. Prior to, she was watching New Heights because she saw a clip with Jason Kelce And I think Kylie was on it, and it made her laugh, and she thought it was funny, so she started watching.
Right, yeah.
And for the longest time, when they started talking about football, she just turned it off. She watched the beginning part, and as soon as they started talking football, she was like, "I'm done."
Yeah.
Right. She didn't care about that, but she cared about the rest.
Right.
And then Taylor Swift went in there, and I heard about it weekly.
Oh, yeah.
So
Just to touch on Taylor Swift, for the haters out there, the Kansas City Chiefs figure they got about 5 million extra fans since they started dating.
Yeah.
And like young women suddenly enjoying football. How are you going to grow a game? Like that's huge.
Well, I know a lot of women that like football.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right?
40% of their audience, I think, is female.
Yeah. There's a lot of women out there, but a lot of women don't watch it because they don't know it.
No.
Right? And so Taylor Swift puts a spotlight on it, and she's having a blast. So these women are looking like, well, what's behind this? You know?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you got a lot more women watching football.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's exciting.
When he went to Cincinnati, because they were, him and his brother, multiple sport athletes. Yeah. Their parents are divorced. Their parents stayed together until they finished high school, just because it would be impossible to get them to the different sports if they had separated. Like that's parents, like, you don't want to live together anymore and you're doing it for your kid. Like that's big. And he redshirts for his first year at Cincinnati. And his teammate said the second he got on the field, he was kind of a Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You get me on that field, you're not getting me off. Yeah. And he's just an animal, like slobbering at the mouth and sweat and grime. And he just brought it. Like he just brought it. And like you said, like the O-linemen, nobody really, you don't even know the names of any of them, right? Yeah. They're invisible.
Yeah.
But there's something about his personality. And the two of them got in there. So he got in as a redshirt, crushed it, got on second year, and in his first year, you have to scout, right? When you're redshirting, you have to scout the other teams, or when you're not playing. And he got like redshirt scout of the year for their division. Like he everything he did, he just goes in 100%, like everything. Yeah. And then of course his brother shows up one day, and they start talking to his brother. And he had a D1 scholarship for basketball. Yeah. And then the coach is like, no, let's give him a scholarship, get him here. And big brother Jason, Travis goes into a bowl game, gets busted for pot, THC in his bloodstream, has to sit out a season. And he goes, he saved me. Like my career would have been over. And he's like, he stayed, encouraged me, but it was a lot of tough love.
Yep.
You didn't let me off the hook at all. And then he really had to turn his act around. And
he did, really. He did. You see him out there.
6th round pick and a 4th round pick, both going to the Pro Bowl. Yeah. They're both going to the Hall of Fame. That's crazy. It is.
But you see him out there, like he's having fun after they win the Super Bowl, after games, he's out there having a good time. Great. Yeah. That's life. Go have fun. Go celebrate. Go enjoy yourself. That's life. Life's not all about grind. Go sit at home and do nothing. Yeah. Right? You go have a bit of fun. But do it within the confines of social moralities and whatnot. And he did, and now it's funny.
No drinking and driving. Yeah. No drug possession. No assault and battery. Yeah. No drunken bar fights.
No, none of that stuff. Yeah. None of that stuff. He jumped out a window at the Bills game and
it was very funny.
And got the crowd.
Really he wasn't hurting anybody though, right?
Yeah,
he was just goofing around. Yeah.
100%. So, and when they told him to stop,
he just kept going.
No, he did. He stopped. Did he? Yeah, because he did it and everybody had a good time with it. Right. And then one of the security guard goes, okay, it's going to start getting a bit crazy. He's like, all right. He went back inside, didn't jump out again.
Right. Yeah.
So, and the security guard didn't go, no more for you. He's like, serious. This is going to get out of hand. Yeah. And even as drunk as he was, Kelce was like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And stopped.
Toned it down. Yeah.
And that's, you can respect that kind of fun. Right. It's when you keep going after the fact or it gets violent or drinking and driving.
And he slips and falls. And
stuff like that. Yeah. So, and you really got to appreciate guys like that in the league, being good role models, showing that you can work hard, have success, and still enjoy life. Yeah. And that's huge.
It is huge. It is huge. My favorite moment from that Bills broadcast wasn't him jumping or like with the beer. He goes into the crowd and some sweet little girl's got the I Love Taylor Swift side. Yeah. So he picks her up, brings her into the booth to meet Taylor Swift.
Well, just outside of the booth. Just
not
outside.
Wearing a shirt. like some guy without a shirt on picks up your daughter. Normally this is a pretty major red flag. But with Jason Kelce, she's meeting Taylor Swift and it's Jason Kelce. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. Well,
6'3", 295. Your daughter's as safe as she's ever been.
Yeah. No kidding. He's the ultimate protector out there.
Well, the thing, when the Super Bowl rolled around, he was in the booth with, Taylor and his mom and dad and all that kind of stuff. And rumor had it, of course, decades or about 10 years earlier, or 7 years, at the Grammys, Kanye West infamously got on stage, rips the mic out of Taylor Swift's hands, doing the Beyonce. It's stupid. Guy's an asshole. Rumor has it he tried to get into the Super Bowl, and he was going to crash the booth and photobomb everything. But Taylor found out, made some phone calls, and made sure he didn't get in.
Yeah, he was trying to get seats right in front of the booth.
Yeah, and she made sure it didn't happen.
Yeah.
You sort of wanted it to happen, right? You've got the boyfriend's brother at 6'3", 295, and then after the game, you get the boyfriend at 6'5", 250, and suddenly Kanye at like what? Maybe 6 feet, 200 pounds. Hey, Kanye, come taunt me now.
Yeah.
Jason took her to the Grammys. It's like, ooh, where's Kanye?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. And, me and my wife talked about this too, right? Like, it seems like every time Beyonce is up for something, Taylor Swift's up for something that year too, and Taylor Swift beats her out. Yeah. Right? And I get it. It sucks always being second place. Right?
Does she always beat her out, though?
Almost always.
Really?
I don't know for sure because I don't.
Yeah, the thing is, they both won a zillion Grammys, right? Like, I don't think Beyonce's won Album of the Year.
And
that's the knock. But I mean, you're a billionaire, for God's sakes.
And she's a phenomenal artist. She's got a huge following.
Unbelievable.
And I mean, maybe that one thing is there, but I don't think she's the one that's upset about it.
No.
And Kanye doing that. Come on. I would have been embarrassed for him if that was me.
Oh, yeah.
If I was the person that he did that for. Yeah. Sit down, right? Yeah. It's one of those things where you got to throw the cards on the table, let the chips fall. Yeah. So.
Right. Anyway. So Kelce retired. I'm excited to see what he does with his future.
My wife 6 years about it.
I'm really hoping he gets into coaching. He stays on the sidelines and coaches the young guys coming up. Yeah. Because he's just perfect for it. Okay. That rolls into the Combine.
Right.
The other NFL news. I'm not a big Combine fan. Help me out. Who is the Combine really for? Because it's not the top 5 guys.
No, and that's it used to be before you had all this tape and media and social media and stuff, that the Combine was where people would go and they would do all these skills and drills, and the coaches would come, the scouts would come, and they'd watch and they'd grade and whatnot.
And the GMs and
and they talk to the players and they have these interviews. Like everything that was slightly interesting, they've turned it into a circus. Yeah. Right? They've got all these different events going on, and they got all these interviews, and then a few of them that want to, put their final stamp on what they can do, go out there and perform these drills. Right. Lots of them don't perform the drills. They go have a pro day. Yeah. Right. Where it's just them on their schedule. Right. And on their platform, they've laid out what they want to do for the day. Right. They've got their receivers. It makes them look better. Yeah. Right. So, quarterback goes out there and he throws the combine and he throws 10 balls and the receivers drop 8 of them. Yeah. Who does that look bad for? They're not looking at the receiver. They're looking at the quarterback, right? And so it doesn't help them out, but you go where you got your trusted receivers and you throw 10 balls and they catch 10 of the balls. Right. Now you look great. Yeah. So it's become a bit of a circus. So, and then because everybody's there, they want to talk to these players. The people that aren't participating in the combine show up anyways. Yeah. And they take the attention away from the guys that are trying to get, not in the first round, maybe not even the second round.
Well, Chase Claypool's a good example.
Yeah.
Right? People expected Chase coming out of Notre Dame to be a 4th or 5th round pick. Yeah. He crushed it at the combine, so he got in second.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking about the guys that the first round's already decided. Yeah. I mean, there may be some maneuvering and
debates
on who goes. Some people reach, whatnot. But for the most part, I think 27 out of the 32 first-round picks are already decided. Yeah. Right? Before the draft even happens. It's just where they're going to go. Yeah. And then there's a bit of maneuvering by teams with trades. They trade in front of one guy to get that, the other guy type thing. Like, the funny part here is Washington, you keep seeing all these trade proposals, right? These fantasy trade proposals of Washington, who's got the second pick, trading with the Bears, who's got the first pick.
No, the Commanders. Yeah,
the Commanders. Trading a fortune to move up one spot to make sure nobody else moves trades a fortune to move up to that number one spot so they can get Caleb Williams, right? But, it's kind of, a lot of maneuvering there. But the combine's really for second round and later.
Yeah.
And I think they need to take the gong show out of it and go back to, come here and show your wares. Caleb Williams, you don't need to show up.
No. Well, who's the wide receiver from Ohio State?
Marvin Harrison.
Didn't show up. He didn't do it.
Yeah.
Why? He doesn't need to go there.
No,
he's the top receiver in the draft. He's going
100%.
top 3.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So there's really no point in those guys going there and doing it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you could hurt your draft stock doing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Brock Bowers, top tight end, right? He's projected to go in the top 10. Had a horrible day.
Yeah.
Horrible day. Right? And I'm like, oh, is he really? No, the guy just had an off day. He had all these conversations, all these.
You look at an entire season, 3-4 years in college against one day.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
And he's from this meeting to that meeting to this meeting to that meeting. And some of the times that you got to go meet with a team at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And then go catch footballs at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
What are you doing for the next, 9 hours?
Yeah.
So
everything gets pumped up.
Yeah.
Like draft day, combine day, even like the TSN goes live to the NHL combine.
Yeah.
Like, give me a break. Like, you're just filling time.
Yeah.
Half these guys they're not going here for 4 years.
Exactly.
Of course they're in shape. They play 85 games a year. Like, you really care if some guy can bench 225 instead of 215? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Either you play or you're not. Right?
Well, it's like baseball. You don't hear of a combine for baseball.
They don't have it. Yeah, they don't need it.
Why?
But they're turning baseball draft day into a big deal now.
But and the teams are fighting against it, actually.
Oh, it's stupid. They're not going anywhere. They're going to wallow in the minors for 5 years.
Exactly. A very few get drafted and show up the next year on a Major League Baseball team.
Yeah.
I am like next to none.
No.
Yeah, and that's the funny part. The general managers for the baseball teams are like, I'm not coming to that.
Yeah.
I want to sit at home and just I'll text you or I'll email you who my pick
phone
is.
call.
Yeah, it's a phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's you don't see it and there's a lot more players too and teams and because they're going to fill their minor league teams or AAA teams or single A teams, and it goes a lot deeper than the other drafts.
The Latin American draft is the one I pay attention to.
Yeah.
That's the diamond in the rough. That's high risk, high reward. You can get some like the Houston Astros, their pitching staff. They went huge money in the Latin American draft, and it paid off massive. Like they're 3 starters they got out of that draft all went to the show and are just bringing it. The Jays did great with Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yeah.
But
you knew with Vladimir Guerrero that it's...
Well, it's interesting because he runs the Braves now. What was the GM's name? In Toronto.
What's
his name? He's from Montreal. Can't remember. No, he's from Hamilton. He went to Mac. He wanted to get Vladdy Guerrero Jr.
Yeah.
And everybody in the league was looking at him and said, you're an outfielder. And he walked up to him and said, what do you want to play? He goes, I want to play third base. Okay, sign with us. We'll put you at third. And that's why he signed with Toronto.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's going to bug me now. It's Thoughtfuless.
Yes. I knew it was something weird like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He worked with the Expos. He started with the Expos. Went to MAG, graduated, he scouted doing player tape.
Yeah.
Cutting tape with VCRs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Became
the way it used to be.
Yeah.
The way it used to be.
Yeah.
So
everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah.
Everybody starts somewhere. So the combine, we agree, is okay, but also with the combine, speaking of which, Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah. Seahawks.
Huskies.
Oh, Huskies, yeah.
Plays for the Huskies. Went to the national championship. Lost to a brilliant Michigan Wolverine team.
Yeah.
Now, there's problems with him in terms of serious injury history and a pretty rough upbringing, right? Now, I don't know. I don't follow Husky football, but I'm assuming he's kept his nose out of...
He's been good.
Good.
Yeah.
Or the Seahawks crazy not to draft him?
It all depends.
To go get him. Are they crazy not to go get him?
It all depends on how the draft is going for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
But I do agree. The Seahawks would be nuts not to.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a Kenny Pickett Pittsburgh thing, right?
Yeah.
Pickett was born in Pittsburgh, played high school in Pittsburgh, went to Pitt, and then got drafted by the Steelers, right? And but they you know what? They draft him in the year that Ben retires and be like, go, Kenny, go.
Yeah.
Let's give Kenny some time to get acclimated here, right? And so instead of sitting a year and being ready, they threw him in the first year, and the second year was kind of crappy. I think Kenny Pickett turns it around this year.
Okay.
Right? That's my thoughts here.
Okay.
Which leads me over to the Seahawks, is that you've got Penix. You draft Penix, right? You've got
Locke.
Locke's good.
Caleb. Geno Smith.
Geno.
Yeah.
Geno.
So is Locke gone?
No, I think he's a free agent this year.
This season he's a free agent?
Yeah, I think right now he's a free agent. So I think they'll just let him walk.
That's crazy. They should have traded him.
But they don't want so.
Nobody wants?
No.
He had that great game, though, the Monday night game.
Yeah, but he had one good game.
But he never played.
He
got COVID.
When he was in Denver, he couldn't take the reins.
Right.
Yeah. So
But he was young in Denver.
Yeah, but
right?
I think he'll have a good career as a backup.
Okay.
Because he knows football. He's a great football mind.
Right.
He'll have a good career as a backup. But you got Geno, right?
Okay.
So maybe
Geno's not young. Geno's in his 30s now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So and Geno's only got one more year on his contract.
Right.
Right, which is a good year for Penix to sit and learn from someone like Geno.
Will he mentor him, though?
Oh, 100%.
Will he?
Geno's all about the mentoring.
Okay.
Because Geno was a backup.
Yeah.
For years, and he backed up young guys, and he talked to young guys. So he knows that his next contract may be as Penix's junior's backup.
Right.
So why not start the mentoring now?
Right. Yeah.
And then work as a team, because he doesn't want to leave Seattle.
No.
Seattle actually treated him well.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, I love it here.
Yeah.
You gave me an opportunity. He ran with it, right? And I mean, Geno, I think Buffalo, he started it. No, I think it was Buffalo. But he looked good and then got hurt.
Yeah.
And when he came back, there wasn't a spot for him. And they kind of bounced around his backups.
And then Josh Dooley came along.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good. Like, I think it'd be a really good idea for Seattle. Draft Penix, sit him a year behind Geno.
Right.
Get him some time out there.
Right.
But
you don't have the injury situation.
Yeah. If you're out of the playoffs, maybe throw him in the last couple of games and get him some time. Injuries, that sort of thing, and then go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, Caleb Williams is going to be the number one pick. He's going to be the number one pick. But
he just says the dumbest things. He's got the skills, but he doesn't have the headspace.
And he's got bad people in his ear.
Yeah.
I mean, the
dad wants like a percentage of whatever team he gets
ownership of the team.
Like, come on, like he says these things.
And it's you're not allowed to.
I know, but these are like
So
look, years ago, and you're a Chargers fan, so you remember this. Rather, you could taste the bile in your mouth. The top two players were Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. And it was a toss-up, skill-wise between the two.
Yeah.
And they asked Peyton Manning, what are you going to do the second you get drafted? And it was a typical Peyton Manning answer, well, I'm going to get the playbook. I'm going to go home. I'm going to study the plays. Going to hit the gym. I'm going to do this and that. And Ryan Leaf looked everywhere in the eye, said, I'm going to get my buddies, and I'm going to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
If that is not a red flag for some kid who's just not mature enough to handle this, I don't know what is. And now you got Caleb Williams saying the same stupid, crappy stuff.
Yeah.
They'd be crazy. And you know what? Who's the quarterback in Chicago right now?
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Does Justin Fields have anybody around him to really play with?
He's getting more. And there's the argument, right?
So what about that wide receiver from Ohio State?
Marvin Harrison
Jr. And then you've got another pick,
number
9, with a bunch of offensive tackles and tight ends who can really block. Would that not make more sense? You've got a quarterback. He's pretty good. He doesn't have a lot of people around him. Suddenly you get two good players around him, and he's got more time.
Well, that's the thing is you look at the people that want to go to first to take Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
You're going to get more draft capital in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
That you could build that offensive line. You can get that.
If someone really wants to sell the farm for a first-round pick for some kid that thinks he's going to get a $700 million contract, I would take that trade. I'll take number 2.
Yeah.
You take Caleb Williams. Yeah. I'm going to take the new wide receiver. By the way, I need 2 guys off your O-line. Your 2 top guys off your O-line. Let me have those.
Yeah.
I know that's from where I stand, just looking at some of the things this kid says.
Yeah.
He's just too young and too immature.
Yeah.
And it's just not a good pick.
No.
I agree.
Right?
Right?
But he's going to go because everybody who's watched him play. And when you watch him play,
Oh, he's good. He's got the skill.
he's got the skills. And a lot of these guys that come in through football have been the best player on every team they've been.
Yeah.
Right? When they come through in Little League, Pop Warner,
Yeah.
they're the best player on the team. They go
Yeah.
on to school, they're the best player on the team. They go into college, they're the best player on the team. They come into the NFL, they've got this swollen head.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be mean about it.
It's big boy league time.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to be mean about it. But you've had sunshine blowing up your ass your whole career.
Yeah.
And you're believing the hype, right? And you come into the league and you think that my shit don't stink.
Yeah.
Right?
It does.
It does, right? But the NFL teams, the smart teams, have people to deal with that.
Yeah.
So when you bring them in, right, and just the Chargers is an example because I love the Chargers, right? But you think of the guys that they got.
It's
there.
a lonely place to be in football.
But you think of the guys that got there, right? And you walk in, and you got Khalil Mack, one of the best defensive ends ever to play the game. You got Derwin James, a no-nonsense safety that hits like a ton.
Yeah.
Right? You got Justin Herbert, who put
He's a lot better than his numbers show.
his numbers are great. It's a lot better than his win-losses show.
Yeah.
But he put the Oregon Ducks on his back and carried them through the Rose Bowl.
Right.
Right? Like, you've got these players. You got Austin Eckler, who's been the #1 fantasy football point getter. Right? Like, so when you walk in there with the swollen head, that head gets popped pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I mean, Quentin Johnson, who was an excellent receiver, we drafted him this year, and I think he came in like that, thinking, I'm the man, I'm to make a difference. And they didn't even break stride. They're like, hurry up, get in line.
Yeah.
And so these NFL players aren't going to put up with it.
No.
And I think that's where the problem's going to be with a Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Right? If he comes in there and he thinks that
You need the right coach.
you need the right coach and you need the right players around him, bringing him back down to earth.
Right.
You know?
Phil Jackson took over the LA Lakers.
Yeah.
And they drafted Kobe. And Kobe was 18 and wanted to sit and eat by himself and treat it like royalty.
Yeah.
And Phil Jackson was probably the best coach on planet Earth to deal with a Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
He brought him down to earth real fast, right?
Well, Russ Wilson gets traded over to Denver, gets his own office.
Terrible.
All these perks to it. And because of who they had there as a coach at the time, Elway had just stepped away as GM.
Yeah.
Right? They had Nate Hackett as the coach. And Russell Wilson was going to get them back into, so Russell Wilson got what Russell Wilson wanted.
Yeah.
Right? Russell Wilson isn't with the Denver Broncos 2 years later.
No.
Because Sean Payton came in and said, no, we're a team.
Yeah.
You get your ass down there with the rest of them or we're done.
I'm gonna go online because Russell Wilson memes are some of the best in the league right now. Well, I mean, it's one of those things. 2 L's, 2 S's, 2 L's.
No. Wilson? The first, Russell? Yeah, 2 S's, 2 L's.
Here's the thing I don't like about the Denver Broncos. This is what I don't like about the Denver Broncos. See if I can find, there's a couple of really good ones. Can't remember. Okay.
They got a whole list of things they don't like about the Denver Broncos.
Denver goes out and drafts Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Now, Tim Tebow is a unique sort of quarterback. When I say is he's not conventional. He's not a power arm. He does things kind of differently. And Urban Meyer built his offense in a way that Tim Tebow could step in and he was the final piece of the puzzle. And for all the criticism of the Gators, they did win 2 national championships.
Yes.
Right? Jim Harbaugh, how many years at Michigan did he take to win 1?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He won 2 national championships with the Florida Gators, and Tim Tebow was a big part of that.
Yep.
Denver drafts him singularly for his marketability. They actually said that.
Yeah.
I can really market this guy. They didn't adjust their offense to him.
No.
But when they put him in there, because their starter got hurt, he took him from a losing record to a conference final.
Yep.
And then they trade him to the Jets for garbage, and they go get Peyton Manning. I know you can argue that they won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. I'm going to tell you this. They won it in spite of Peyton Manning. He had a terrible playoff run, and the defense just stood up and won it for him.
Yeah.
So, I don't like Denver at all. They used to be good. They stuck with John Elway forever, and they fought.
Finally
99 or 98, 99, they finally won it.
Yep.
And God love them. And Elway left, and there goes their leadership. And it's just like, oh, my God.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I mean, you went Elway went to the front office. They had some contending teams, and they were trying to find that lightning in a bottle at quarterback.
Yeah.
The Jake Plumbers, the Tim Tebow's,
Yeah.
whatnot. But it just wasn't there.
No.
And so he goes, he leaves, and they break this Russell Wilson BS and
Terrible trade.
horrible.
For both
horrible
teams,
trade.
because I mean, they got these picks. They got some good. Seahawks got some good picks, but the record wasn't that great.
It hasn't changed their record.
No.
I think over the years those picks will be better.
Yeah.
It'll work out better for Seattle in the end.
Yeah.
But I mean,
They have some depth. Like they got that Witherspoon, the brilliant corner.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's not going to win games for it. One guy, like a corner's not going to win games for it.
No.
Like he's not.
No,
It's a whole decor. Like he's a big part of it. But yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons Pete Carroll would set on his ways. He wanted to rebuild the Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
Right. And here's the thing.
At 73 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Like, you'll never see the Legion of Boom again. You'll never see the Iron Curtain again. You'll never see the Purple People Eaters again.
No.
Like these, it's a once in a lifetime team of a group of people that come together and connect.
Yeah.
And play so well. So to be like, that's the next one. And I hate the comparison
Doesn't work.
to Patrick Mahomes as the next Tom Brady. No, he's not.
Not even-
Patrick Mahomes is Patrick
Completely
Mahomes.
different.
Right? Tom Brady's Tom Brady. Tom Brady had great success.
Completely different quarterbacks.
The comparison,
Yeah.
right, is like a pomegranate and a banana. like it's so far out there,
Patrick Mahomes reminds me of Randall Cunningham.
more so than
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Right?
Anyway.
Like he was a scrambler with a killer arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look at that situation too. Could other quarterbacks have had success that Patrick Mahomes has had there? Because you got Andy Reid, you got one of the best defensive coordinators, you got a great defense, you got Travis Kelce, you had his first year through, he had Tyreek Hill, right? I dropped the ball. I never dropped the ball. I got excited there.
When people are watching, he never dropped that.
But and that being said, Patrick Mahomes going to another team, would that other team have had more success?
No.
It's hard
Like
to
Tom
say.
Brady Belichick.
Yeah, like Brady Belichick.
Yeah.
We had Gronkowski and Hernandez there, the two tight ends, and they Belichick and Reed are coaches that take a look at what they have and they adjust their playbook for the talent on the field.
Right.
And this goes back to when I was coaching Border Bowl.
Okay.
ABC Border Bowl, right? We go through all these what do you call it, like
Drills.
camps, insertion, or not the insertion camps, but the to look at the players.
Yeah.
The combines.
Combines, yeah.
Yeah. So we do all these combines and everything, and you look at all these players, I put the players on, you get the players on the team.
Pardon me.
And I'd have OCs come in and be like, oh, I've got the offensive playbook already.
Why?
We don't even know who's on the team yet.
Yeah.
What's, you got a run heavy team. What if we don't have a running back?
Yeah.
What if we got a throwing quarterback? It's one of those things where it's a good coach doesn't say, we're bringing in my playbook and we're going to force all the square pegs into the round holes.
Right.
The coach goes, well, how does that round peg fit into the round hole?
Yeah.
Right? And you build off of what you have.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I think.
Scotty Bowman adjusted as the league changed.
Exactly.
Right. He went from flying freshman to the Russian unit and just adjusted.
There's reasons why coaches have success year after year after
Decades.
year. And it's because they adjust to what's around them. They don't try to adjust what's around them. And this is a problem. Let's go back to the Chargers here.
Yeah.
I know, because it's my number one example. Brandon Staley.
What not to do. They're like the Canadian Tire in the NFL.
Yeah. So they bring in this Brandon Staley as a never head coach before.
Right.
And he's trying to force everything down. And you see all these players that have had this great success all of a sudden regressing under what he's doing is because he's trying to make them do things they're not good at.
Yeah.
So as a coach, you're trying to get the best out of your players, not force them to do what you want.
Right.
Right? I'm an IT guy. If you tell me to go dig a ditch, it's not happening.
No.
Not very well anyway.
Back. Carpal tunnel.
Exactly, right? Like, I'm good at what I do. I stay in my lane.
Yeah.
Right? And when you try and force me out of my lane, I'm not as good.
No.
So
Steve Jobs said the best way to build a company is hire good people and let them do the jobs they want to do.
Yeah.
Don't put an engineer in accounting. Don't put an accountant in engineering.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? I want to do X. Okay, you go do that because they're going to be happy and they're going to.
100%. That's exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So
Totally. Okay. What else are we going to talk about? Baseball, spring training, Grapefruit League action.
Beautiful.
Is it overhyped a little? Is it getting a little too hyped?
You know what? I think there's enough people out there that want to see some of it.
Yeah.
So yes, show it.
Yeah.
But, I don't really pay a lot of attention to it.
The games are pretty boring.
The games are really boring.
Unless there's a really big prospect coming up that you want to see actually play, that's always in the minors.
Yeah.
It's really not a lot of point.
Well, I know a lot of people will go like to Arizona.
I go to watch it. No, I totally do that. The atmosphere apparently is fantastic. Yeah,
100%. You know, and the stars are there, but they're not playing, so they're signing autographs or talking to people and whatnot. So I mean, it is a lot of fun. Is it overhyped? I don't think so. No, I don't. But I don't think it needs any more hype.
No,
everybody knows it's there. Yeah, everybody knows it's going on.
The way things work, I can speak for Toronto and probably Ryder's communication. The baseball people are more or less on contract.
Yeah.
So they're not really working or getting paid in the off season. There's the odd article they might publish or whatever.
Right.
But really their bread and butter is when baseball season starts, they're working full time and they're on a full time contract.
Yeah.
So when the Grapefruit League finally comes around, they finally have something to do.
Yeah.
So they get them down there and they're really excited and they pump it up a lot and maybe talk a bit too much for players that, aren't going to go anywhere or not be quite as good because they're just finally, they have something to do and they're doing what they get paid to do. And that's where a lot of the hype comes from.
And I like that because you're getting interviews with players that don't usually get interviews.
No.
And being that, we're sitting here, it's not on TV. There's no highlights of it, that sort of stuff, unless something big happens.
Yeah.
Right.
It's on TV. You can see some Jays games and stuff.
You can get a bit of it, right?
Yeah.
But if you're just kind of curious about how your team's doing,
right?
You go into that reporter and he's writing about the players on your team.
Yeah.
So you can just be like, you don't have to focus on it.
Yeah.
But it's there. It's happening.
The storyline I read about the minor leaguer who had a really good outing in the third inning of a doubleheader against, the Pittsburgh Pirates. That article is pretty much irrelevant the next day because he's not going to the show.
Well,
let's talk about something.
And it's how they write it too. It's like it's a second coming to Jackie Robinson, right? No, it's a minor leaguer who had a good game.
All right. So how's Shohei doing? Speaking of big games, what's going on in Dodger Nation?
He's just hitting right now because he's still recovering from that surgery. Yeah. But Yamamoto, the other multi-$100 million guy they got out of Japan,
over $1 billion dollars and 3-4 guys.
Yeah,
it's insane. $1 billion.
But Yamamoto, first batter, struck him out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a minor leaguer. It was a Major League Baseball guy.
Okay.
I don't remember who it was. It was Texas. And he went up there and he threw some real good smoke and he looked
3 innings.
Good. Yeah, he only pitched 3 innings.
2 or 3 innings. Yeah.
But his first at bat was 3 pitches.
Yeah.
And he attacked.
Yeah, there you go.
Which I like.
Yeah.
So I just read an article this morning actually. They moved Mookie Betts out of the outfield to second base.
Shortstop.
And they flipped him to shortstop. Yeah. So
versatile.
Yeah, they moved Gavin Lux, who was a second baseman, over to shortstop.
I'm looking up a player. Just keep talking.
And they moved Gavin Lux over to shortstop and put Mookie at second. And they're like, no, that's not going to work. Mookie tried shortstop, and he's been nailing it. So he's getting a lot of play down there in the infield.
Okay. This is the player I'm watching, okay, in the NHL. MLB, sorry. So, Jays were in the lottery for Shohei.
Yeah.
I don't realistically think, I need some more water. I don't realistically think the Jays were ever going to land him.
Right.
Okay? San Francisco was in the hunt also.
Yeah.
They back out. They go on to sign Jung-Hoo Lee out of Korea.
Yes.
Now, he's a promising outfielder. 6 years, $113 million. A bit much for a Korean guy coming out of the Korean League. I shouldn't say Korean guy, but you appreciate what I'm saying. Coming out of a Korean League.
Yeah.
But apparently he can hit and he can field.
Yeah.
The Jays have no outfielders.
Yeah.
They're good defensively. Collectively, they all hit 240, right? Now, Kevin Kiermaier is their center fielder. He's a brilliant center fielder, and his attitude coming into last season, I'm going to be the best number 9 hitter in the league.
Yeah.
I like that attitude. I'm not going to lead. I'm not offensively that hard, but in my position, I'm going to do everything I can to win. No problem. But they signed him to a 1-year contract because of his injury problems. So they gave him another 1-year contract. And why the hell didn't Toronto go for this guy? They need a hitting outfielder.
Yeah.
They don't have it, and it just drives me nuts. They got no one hits.
Yeah.
I didn't go and get a bat. It's like, oh my God.
I mean, and I think that's the thing that the Dodgers look the best at, is that you start off with Mookie Betts.
Right.
You go to Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
Shohei. And then Max Muncy.
Yeah.
Right, to clean it up.
Yeah.
The top of that order is ugly at all times.
Yeah.
And the other guys, you can hit 250, right?
275, 260.
Yeah, like you can be in that mid-range guy, because that top four, they're switching pitchers.
Right.
Every time.
And the problem with Toronto, too, a few years ago was really promising because Vladimir Guerrero's coming up. Bo Bichette's coming up. I'm trying to think of who the other guys were. Alec Manoah's coming up. They had a lot of young players. Kevin Biggio was coming up. So people were really excited about the future. It was like rebuild, right? We're rebuilding. We're not going to win today. We're going to win tomorrow. So you're excited. And they're in every game. That novelty is now gone.
Yeah.
They've blown 2 playoff series over metrics. Yeah. Like they just didn't leave the pitcher in when the pitcher was winning. And no one got the clutch hits. Yeah. And the novelty is over. There's no reason to really get excited about the Jays this season. They did not bring anybody in of any real caliber. They got that Cuban pitcher who went from Cuba to Japan, now to the major leagues. Yeah. Who's not even pitching because he's got back trouble. I mean, it's just like, what? No one wants to play for them. My feeling is no one wants to play for them because they're just blowing it in the playoffs. And I think they're going with analytics instead of the gut.
Well, and I think a lot of times teams will go all in because they think they have a chance. Yeah. You're 140 games in, you're sitting at the top, you're going to the playoffs. Let's treat some of our farm system
to win now. Yeah.
And that hardly ever works.
Yeah.
It hardly ever works. And
the Jays back in 92 got David Cone.
Yeah.
And that worked.
It did, but they didn't give up a lot of their farm system for it.
No.
They gave up players that weren't working out.
Yeah.
And to get somebody that they were trying to dump a bit of a contract anyway.
Right.
So it was somebody that they were looking to get rid of.
Yeah. It does work, but it's short-term pain.
It's short, but you can't give up your farm system to try for now. Yeah. Because then for the next couple of years you suck.
You have nothing.
Right? And it was funny because there was an article on the farm systems, the best ones in baseball.
Right.
And Dodgers are always at the top.
Yeah.
They're always top 3.
Amazing farm system.
And because they invest into their farm system. And you get these small market teams, as they call them.
Yeah.
Are saying
KC.
Yeah. They're saying, we can't compete. We get, a couple of first-round draft, or really low first-round draft picks. Yeah. And then also we got a team for a couple of years that looking good, but all of a sudden somebody offers a ton of money. Yeah. Right? Invest in your farm system.
Player development.
It will pay off.
It will.
And a lot of them don't, and they're willing to cut their farm system for immediate gratification.
The Jays panicked last year. This is a team that drafts umpteen million infielders.
Yeah.
Like they go to the Latin American draft and they get these 17-year-old infielders. They draft pitchers, and then they get infielders.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette blows his knee late in the season. They hit the panic button. They trade 2 guys to bring in, what did they do? They got Jordan Hicks at the trade deadline, which was a middle reliever, a real fireballer.
Yeah.
I think they needed a bat, but they went and got Jordan Hicks.
Yeah.
He didn't stick around because Jordan Hicks wanted to be the closer when they already had a closer, and it's just like, okay, whatever. But then Bo Bichette blows his knee. They move another trade pitching prospect, 3 pitching prospects for 2 guys to St. Louis, and they pick up Mike DeYoung, who they DFA'd 3 weeks later. How is it possible they don't have anybody in the farm system that could step in for 2 weeks, 10 games, just hold the fort down until Bo Bichette's knees come back? I mean, they just gutted the farm system, and they made, some of it was pretty good. They used their first-round pick a few years ago, an infielder, Matthew Austin, something like that, out of Vanderbilt. Really good. And they got Jose Barreros Jr. He was a brilliant starter, 200-inning guy, big innings, big arm, and he signed for long-term. That paid off. Okay, fine. But they just keep moving all their first-round picks. Yeah. And they get these guys that aren't sticking around. Yeah. They moved one of the top prospects in Major League Baseball to get Dalton Varsho, who hit 2 220. Yeah. 2 guys. Yeah. For one guy, he hit 220.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Yeah. Oh, God, it drives me. And it's so boring to watch. They strike out.
I totally agree.
And Matt Chapman, they wanted to offer big money to Matt Chapman. Crazy glove. The guy's a gold glover. And but he strikes out all the time.
Yeah.
He'll get you 30 home runs. Okay, so you're down 4-0, and he gets a solo shot. You lose 4-1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The numbers aren't there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, so at least they dumped them. They did compensatory pick, and they get another $500,000 signing bonus money in this round or next season. But so maybe they can go above slot and throw another $500,000 at a guy.
And this is where the comedy I find. They talk about Moneyball.
Yeah.
Moneyball.
Hate it.
Moneyball worked once. Legion of Boom worked once.
Yeah.
Right? You can't steal somebody else's idea or emulate it because everybody knows about it now. You're not surprising anybody.
But Moneyball, how did it work though for one season?
But the Athletics made it to the
playoffs.
I think they made it to the Super or the World Series. Did they?
No, they didn't. They made it through the divisional championship to the
ALCs.
The ALCs, and then lost to, I think, it would have been the Yankees.
The Yankees.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's the continuation of my point.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah. So Moneyball worked. It caught everybody by surprise.
Yeah.
Right. But Big Moneyball smacked them down.
Right.
Right. So you get rid of these players that cost you big money. You get cheap players that can get on base and you get base hits. Right. And when they get the big contracts, you kick them out the door.
Right. Or you trade them the next day.
Trade them the next day type thing. And you keep bringing in players that are hitting.
Yeah.
Singles, doubles, triples. Don't worry about the big cracking of the bats.
Yeah.
Paying them little money. Right.
Right.
Which worked. But what happened is those guys that were good, that they're kicking out the door, not wanting to pay big money. The Yankees are paying big money. The Dodgers are paying big money. The Red Sox are paying big money.
Yeah.
And then you got the super money ball here.
Yeah.
Because they've got the big boys and they can afford the big boys. The Dodgers are $200 million a year over the luxury tax. Oh, well, our jersey sales will cover that. You know,
the TV contracts.
Yeah. Our TV contract takes care of that. We don't even notice it.
See, I was an Expos fan.
Yep, me too.
And towards the Expos, towards the end, my cousin said, he goes, either, throw the money in the team and get the new building, or just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because this is no fun anymore. You like a player, he's gone. And that's my big knock against Moneyball.
Yeah.
Players, teams come out to watch, not the team. They want to see individual players. I love this guy.
Yeah.
And he, one guy threw a no-hitter on the road, and they traded him the next day.
Yeah.
You don't think fans want to come see a guy pitch a no-hitter in your own stadium?
Yeah.
Like, no wonder it didn't work out. Like, Cleveland, God love them, got a bunch of young players, cheap, kept them as long as they could, and they sold out.
Houston.
Yeah.
Houston did it.
Now, Houston's got a lot of money.
But they didn't. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And they started getting money. They started getting some money. They got these young players in.
And they got lucky. Like Altuve, they got lucky in Altuve.
They got a baseball bat and a garbage can.
Yeah.
So they could send signals in from the outfield. Right? And so, got them a World Series.
It worked. Cheating's really terrible when you get caught. Oh, yeah. Late gate. No, yeah.
So, what else we got on there? NHL trade deadline. Did that happen?
It happened.
Oh.
See, let me tell you.
I blinked. I missed it.
Let me tell you the problem with the trade deadline. So, back in the 70s, here's the evolution of hockey in the 10-cent version.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you lock up a player, you keep a player.
Yeah.
Right? Sam Pollock comes along with the Montreal Canadiens. He starts trading good players for draft picks. Yeah. No one had ever done it before. So that's what changed the game there. And so we got the Guy Lafleurs, the Larry Robinsons, all those guys that he built the dynasty, right?
Right.
Then Jim Torrey comes along, and he's Bill Torrey with the Islanders.
Right.
And at the trade deadline in 1980, he goes and gets Butch Goring.
Yeah.
Okay. He needed one more piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
He knew it was Butch Goring, so he traded the trade deadline. He got Butch Goring. They win the Stanley Cup. Butch Goring gets the Conn Smythe.
Yeah.
Okay. That set off the frenzy of the NHL trade deadline.
Yeah.
That would trade. So now everyone trades for draft picks, and if the trade deadline comes around, people are looking for that one piece of the puzzle they need to get over the top, right?
Yeah.
It's turned into an absolute circus.
Yeah.
And TSN, as we just talked before, they do hockey, CFL, NFL, and very little else. You used to turn on TSN, and they would have ice fishing.
Yeah.
They would have Formula One, kart series.
Yeah.
They would have darts.
Yeah.
They still do curling, the Briar. They do a brilliant job in curling in the Briar. A little bit of golf.
Yeah.
A little bit of golf, but they had a lot of obscure sports. They would get the snooker tour out of the UK.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember that.
They don't fill that time anymore.
No.
Right? So they have to fill time with the major sports they have. They go live to the NHL Combine. Who the hell cares that an 18-year-old kid can ride a bicycle longer than the guy sitting next to him? You know, look, one of them throw up. Let's put that in the highlights, right? So now they go balls to the wall on the NHL trade deadline. I can't think of a major trade that's happened in the past 20 years that's even worth talking about for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I can't. I can't. And the NHL is so watered down now. It's just like...
And I look at this, and I haven't watched a lot of hockey
No.
the last few years.
No.
But I look at this, and the deals that happened here, and a lot of these names were like the same names that got traded 5 years ago when I was watching this stuff. I'm like, yeah. So
Montreal moved Shane Monahan to Winnipeg, and they got a first-round pick out of it.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal because they bought Monahan from Calgary because Calgary had to dump him to bring in Nazem Kadri, and they got a first-round pick out of it. Now, I've tried to understand the conditions around that Calgary first-round pick. You need a law degree to figure it out. Like, it's not cut and dry. And now they've got the first-round pick again out of Winnipeg, so Montreal got 2 first-round picks out of 1 player.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to turn Montreal into a Stanley Cup contender because I'm guaranteed they're going to trade one of those picks and get something now.
Yeah.
And they moved Jake Allen to the Devils for a conditional 3rd pick. And the conditions are he has to play more than 40 games, and they have to make it to the playoffs. Yeah. So what Devils are going to do is keep him at 39 games and hope they make the playoffs, and then they don't have to give up anything for him. And, Montreal have too many goaltenders anyway.
Yeah.
And they picked up Sam Monbo, and they have Kane Primo coming out of the minors. They're the future, and he's 38 or 39 years old. And he was great. I loved him. He did really good in Montreal, and he mentored the young guys, and he had a great attitude. And I seriously hope it works out for him in New Jersey towards the twilight of his career because he's a good guy.
Yeah.
So that was it. They dumped him for salary. They have too many goalies. They got one. They back down to 2. Yeah. And they got anyway. So that's the trade deadline. There's just nothing to talk about.
No, yeah. Then it's not. And I mean, you look at it. You're watching. Maybe your team gets a player or two that I know. 2012 trade deadline. The Kings picked up Mike Richards a few weeks earlier.
Yeah.
And Jeff Carter right at the trade deadline. Won him a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. There's a lot of reasons they won that Stanley Cup.
Jonathan Quick. Yeah, but and those parts really helped out.
It clicked. Yeah.
It made it work, right? So, I mean, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It's a real crapshoot.
Yeah. So. I mean, the Leafs went all in Olin Nolan one year.
Yeah.
And everyone's just, wetting themselves. And, of course, they didn't win anything.
No.
It's the Leafs.
So, I mean, we talked a lot of professional sports today, right? Which is always fun.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But, we got to talk about some local stuff here.
Oh, yeah.
And
locally, you mean like Alberta?
Alberta. Rumble in the Rockies.
Tell me about it. What's it about?
So, Wayne was talking about it earlier, and it's a week-long youth tackle tournament. The Monday or the Tuesday, they do the check-in opening ceremonies, 2 kickoff feature games. So they're playing in a dome.
Oh, that's cool.
In Red Deer.
They had one of those in Red Deer.
Yeah. It's got to be pretty cool there.
It'll be very cool.
So they had 2 kickoff feature games. A Wednesday, full day of gameplay. So they got the different teams playing and whatnot. Thursday, they got a compete day, and the cash scholarship awards for individual winners.
Ooh, nice.
So I'm guessing you're talking O-line competes and D-line competes.
Yeah, okay.
Which is good. Friday, some more games.
And you have 3 really good football universities within driving distance.
Yes.
U of A, Calgary, and University of Saskatchewan.
Yeah. And then the Saturday, as the championship games take place, final award ceremony.
Nice.
So it's a good 5 days of football
showcase
in Red Deer.
Yeah.
I know Wayne's going up there to help with the broadcast part of it. Wayne is our producer here. Wayne Yorkie.
Shout out to Wayne.
Yeah.
Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth.
Mark.
Party on, Mark.
Yeah, Wayne and Mark.
Oh, Marky, Wayne and Marky, eh?
Yeah.
Rocket and Pfefferlaw. All right.
So that's taking place March 26th to 30th.
All right.
So we won't have a show on the 30th.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm camping anyways. So
Are you really camping?
Easter long weekend.
Are you really camping?
I am.
What are you camping in?
No, I sleep in the trailer.
Well, how big's the trailer?
30 feet.
Okay. And where are you camping in the woods, or are you on a concrete pad with a hookup?
It's actually a gravel pad. And
Can't say do go to.
we're going to Rolly Lake.
I've been to Rolly Lake.
Beautiful lake.
That's a nice camp.
Yeah.
That's an actual campground.
Yeah.
It's
You
go
really
to
good.
Chilliwack Lake also.
A lot.
Yeah.
We go up the Chilliwack Lake.
Okay.
So, we could talk about my favorite camp spots all day long. I'd be a whole other show, right?
We could.
So,
I'm a Golden Ears man myself.
I like Golden Ears.
Although this year I think we're gonna go someplace else because we've gone there a little too much.
Yeah. You gotta mix it up a bit. We're Chehalis, out towards Hemlock there.
Okay.
We like that one a lot. It's on the river. It's quiet. It's close.
Yeah.
KFC's just down the road.
Nothing like roughing it.
Yeah.
DoorDash on my satellite phone. No, we're over here.
So the 30th we won't have a show.
Okay.
Right. But Wayne will be doing the Rumble in the Rockies.
Nice.
And he's going to bring us back some footage of that. That we can maybe get some highlights out of, some great clips.
Sounds good to me.
Other thing notable here is we got your beloved Giants on the wall.
Giants, there we are.
And as you see, our studio's starting to take shape.
It looks fancy. You know, honestly, God, this is a really nice motif. This looks really nice.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, we need a better table, desk.
We're gonna get it.
A home for Gordy.
Yeah, Gordy's gonna have a home. I've got some bobbleheads at home. I meant to bring in and totally forgot.
What?
And you've got something in a box.
I brought it because I thought we were gonna have shelves up. We
It's
can
gonna
put
be
it
a
up.
family show, so be careful if you pull out of a long.
But I want to. My wife doesn't let me put these up at home, so I thought, well, what better display it? This is the thing. The BCCFA gave me this last year because I've stepped down from BCCFA.
Long time. How many years? How long were you with the
12 years. I was 14 years with the Falcons, 12 years on their executive.
That's a legacy, man.
BCCFA,
awesome.
VCFL. So they gave me this, which I thought was a really nice trophy. And
Hold it up good at the camera so they can see it.
you get that? Yeah, it's a really nice trophy. It's got all the different things. So here we got. I started with the Falcons.
Cool.
Matt Macri, 2010, 2012.
Nice.
It says, for your contribution and endless dedication to the growth of grassroots football in British Columbia. Love grassroots football.
Yeah.
So it's got my Falcons. It's got the VCFL, which was the league that I became vice president when I finally stepped down.
Valley Community Football League.
And my last job was the BCCFA Spring Flag Provincial Director.
Nice.
Loved doing it. It was a great tournament. And it's actually coming up in June. So we have a clip here. We have a clip here of the Joe Gleska, Year 2, Joe Gleska Invitational Flag Football Tournament. Let's go to that. So how exciting is that?
Honestly, Joe Gleska will be a guest on this show at one point.
Yes.
It's absolutely wonderful. And that flag tournament in Kelowna is a blast. It's great.
I was a provincial coordinator for a few years with it. And then I've stepped away from the executives and whatnot, but I still help out with it. Last year I went up and I did the scoring, the brackets and the scoring. Plan on doing the same. I haven't talked to Jay Spencer, but my plan is to do the same.
Okay.
If I don't, I'll be up there broadcasting with you on the Sunday. So I will be there. I will be there. My son coaches a flag football team out of Abbotsford.
Nice.
And, I was just talking to producer Wayne here, and he was letting me know that flag football is a growing sport. It's huge. It's massive.
Very big. And
And Chilliwack Giants minor football, their registration for spring flag grew by 100 people.
That's a lot. That's how many flag teams is that? There's 10 kids for teams, so it's 10 extra teams.
Good mathing, Tim. Good mathing.
Shut up. I want to know something. I'm curious about this. And I actually put it to a reporter friend of mine. Yeah. And I think I emailed it into The Athletic, which is now with the New York Times. How many more girls are signing up for football since Taylor Swift started dating Jason Kelce?
Well,
I'm really curious.
Connie wouldn't let her date Jason. She's dating Travis.
Travis, great. Travis, whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That's the thing is, we've seen the growth of girls in football over the years. The 12 years that I was there, Abbotsford actually sent a girls team to the Nationals.
For flag or
for flag?
Yeah.
With girls.
Yeah.
So the whole national was all girls teams across Canada.
Yeah.
Which was, we had to combine with Surrey to get enough girls to make a team.
Right.
But they went and they represented BC. Nice. And then it's a whole part of the national flag tournament is girls football now. Yeah. Girls flag teams, which is fabulous because the girls want to get out there and play. And they're good. Like,
it's entertaining.
Kenna, we've got some great girls that have played football here.
It's good.
Sit here.
Kenna went down to Las Vegas with Greg Fawcett's team and just rocked it.
Yeah.
Rocked it.
Yeah. Sydney Henderson played for the Abbotsford Falcons.
Yeah.
Went on and played school ball. She was a star in her school ball.
Oh, okay.
Now this year she's playing rugby. She's a phenomenal rugby player. And these are girls that have gone in there and held their own with the guys.
Yeah.
But when they get on a girls team, they're superstars.
Yeah.
They're absolute studs.
They really are.
So it's nice that those opportunities are coming up for them.
The women's sports really is the future of sport. I mean, we now have the Women's Professional Hockey League, which is getting full-time on TSN. Women's basketball, college basketball, is really getting big. And it's, of course, they're now getting drafted into the professional leagues. And Caitlin Clark is the star. The person to thank for that is actually Angel Reese.
Oh, yeah?
Because Caitlin Clark is like, the Jordan coming out of women's college.
Right.
So Iowa goes up against LSU in the championship last year, and LSU was running away with the game in the dying minutes, and Angel Reese goes up to her, gets in her face, and starts pointing at the ring, right?
Yeah.
And I like Angel Reese a lot. She's great. But every story needs a villain, right? That controversy, that gave everybody a storyline, and that story went viral, and that's when people started paying attention to women's sports a bit more.
Yeah.
University of Nebraska women's volleyball team played an outdoor game at their football stadium, and 90,000 people packed that stadium for a women's volleyball game. The future of sports is in women's sports.
Well,
it's really starting to take off.
It's huge. I mean, I love it. I love the fact that you've got the opportunities out there for them to showcase their talent.
Yeah.
Because I think they've sat in the shadows for way too long.
Way too long.
Way too long. So, I mean...
And women's tennis is just the perfect example.
Yeah. It was funny because they did that lingerie league football to get women out there playing. It was a total gimmick to get people interested.
Right.
But now it's actually catching a bit of life and they're not wearing lingerie anymore.
They're not wearing, get rid of the lingerie and get them in the,
get them some credibility because they go out there and they compete.
Yeah.
I mean, watching a soccer game, I'd rather bang my head off a cement wall.
Right.
Watching a women's soccer, like when they do the World Cup, I don't miss the women's soccer games.
It's good. It's really good.
They are warriors out there.
Canada winning that gold medal against Sweden. That game, oh my God. Yeah. They beat the U.S. 1-0 and then tied. It was so good. It was so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fight, like they just, it's beautiful. I love it. So
that's the one thing we're going to talk about next week. And one of our topics is going to be what sports can the Olympics dump? Because they don't need men's soccer, tennis, whatever. We'll talk about that later. More details later.
The other stuff going on locally, we've got the Huskers camp starting. The Husker camp here at the end of March. Yeah.
So we new players.
We got the BCFC ramping up for the season.
Yeah,
which will be a lot of fun. I do the color commentating for the Huskers games.
Flag we just mentioned.
Flag. Oh, and here's the thing. If you want to coach, reach out to your local community club. Abbotsford, I know, is screaming for football coaches. Chilliwack's looking for football coaches. I'm guessing most of them are looking for people that have a football knowledge, a desire to coach, and they like kids.
Yeah. You have to understand it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, you're not there to win.
I did it for 5 years after my kids were done. I enjoyed it so much.
It's a good time.
So and if you got young kids, get them involved. Get involved with your local community. Maybe one day you'll get a trophy too.
There you go. So, or a bobblehead. Good enough to get a bobblehead. So, and on that note, if you're a community sports organization, any sport, we don't care. You want to come on the podcast and you want to promo it a bit. just come out. Do we have an email address yet? How do they get in touch?
Yeah, we have OT with Tim and Amy.
That's
Tim
right. At Gmail.
At Hotmail. At Outlook.com. Outlook.com.
Outlook.com?
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay.
OT with
Google
Tim
Chrome
and
is going to be one of our sponsors.
No, it is not. Maybe embedded in everything we do, but we're not touching them.
All right. No
OT with Tim and Matt at Outlook.com is our email address.
Okay.
So
reach out. We'll get you in this chair. We got an extra chair here.
Yeah.
We'll get you on. And we're going to have more stuff in our walls.
I was probably shelves to put my trophies on.
Shelves and trophies. I have
bobbleheads.
I have a participation medal that I will proudly display with my bobbleheads. Look, pal.
Yeah.
You know what? Just don't even go there. Yeah. Okay.
Mr.
Hot Shot. Okay.
But my trophies are for my contributions off the field, and I like to sit here and make a big deal about it with me and you, but. My contributions off the field were just opening doors for kids to have an opportunity to play.
Perfect.
And that's what it's all about.
Right.
It's not about me winning a provincial championship. It's about the kids out there learning, loving the sport.
Right. And for me, most people know me as the announcer guy from the Giants.
Yeah.
And I goof around. I give the kids their props, and it just makes it more fun for everybody.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, they enjoy it.
Okay. Okay. That wraps up off topic with
first episode.
Inaugural voyage. We weren't the Titanic, so that's good. We dodged the iceberg. We're going to hit port in Nova Scotia or New York, where the hell they were.
Yeah. No, we're good. We're good. And we'll be back next weekend to ramble on about sports.
Sure. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, send us an email at
OT with Tim and Matt at Outlook.com.
Outlook.com. Thank you very much.
It's right down there.
All right. Peace out.
Have a good one, guys.
Go Habs.